Y'all know my rule, you remember what I said? Yeah, I respect y'all. It's like, we're anxious, we don't remember nothing. Stop, mop them, but don't stop them, all right? You can mop them up, but don't stop your tears because this is free space for you to do it. Okay? Mop them, but don't stop them. So there's plenty of tissue. Tanya will, of course, she knows how this goes. All right, so I'm gonna come back to you. My name is Shawnee Renee Benton Gibson. Shawnee means Southern people. Renee means rebirth, and Benton Gibson, Gibson is my former husband's name, but I'm like the whole name embodies something really powerful for me and where I've been and where I'm going. My father's side is from Virginia, but they migrated here when my father's mother was a young girl, and then my mother's family is from the South, from Atlanta, Georgia, and they migrated here when my grandmother was a girl. I think she was 9 years old. So all I know is New York, but I also feel the Southern roots in me deep. Like I come from a line of midwives on my mother's side and herbalists. So I come from that lineage. And went to school in Queens. My high school was Forest Hills High School, and then I went away to Long Island University, and then I went to Adelphi, and then I got my master's at NYU. And what I was very present to is in all of those environments, there weren't a lot of women that looked like me, women of color. And so what I'm present to is that I get to teach and educate in a very informal way so that women that look like me get access to learning that's not I won't even say it's traditional, it's this modern way to learn. And someone declares that you are a doctor or you're a social worker or you're a scientist. I'm scientist, doctor, lawyer, because I say so. You know, so part of my journey is just owning that I'm a healer and nobody has to declare that or certify that. I know that's who I am in my roots and my genes. And so that's who I am. Shawnee Renee Benton Gibson, just standing in my power as a healer. And I'm gonna live my life, and when I die, I wanna be wrung out dry because I've used all my gifts, so. I don't want that for you.
And I don't want that for you.
So anything else you want to say? Comma, not period. Maybe just for the moment. It's not a period.
That I miss you. I need you.
Say that piece again. Because we know you can say I miss, but that second one, Tanya have a hard time with that one. So repeat that.
I need you.
2 more times.
I need you. I need you. I need to feel your presence. We miss you.
What's your line? I love you, but you need to get it together, Shrews. He's deceased now, but a former psychologist and psychiatrist who, in his experience with watching and observing children at play, recognized that there was a dynamic, a human dynamic that involves spontaneity and creativity, that children just embody, they just are that, and it's in them. But as you evolve and experience life, you lose the essence of your spontaneity and creativity, and you become like almost like a machine in your life, and you know, operating like you're surviving it rather than living it.
Really bring me comfort, like he's a cause to the reason why I make a lot of impulsive decisions.
So you want him to be in here experiencing like healing as well?
Yes.
Co-creating with you. Beautiful. Okay. And Kim and Candace, you don't have to. It's up to you. She's like,
I'm gonna bring my father too.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Hobart.
Hobart.
Yes, like Robert
Page.
Duvall.
Hobart. And what it means for me is psycho, soul, drama, stories. So your soul stories get told, not from a place of just vocalizing them and intellectualizing them, but you use the cognitive, the experiential, and the participatory combined in order to create healing and a new level of insight, not just about your past, but about your current life. And then also you can project into the future what you want to design for yourself so that you can be fulfilled and move towards something in a powerful way. So, I mean, the form gives me life because not only do I lead it and support people in, you know, getting present to what needs to be healed, what needs to be transformed, how they can create something awesome for themselves, themselves, but I also get a chance to do it because to learn the form means you engage in psychodramatic process for yourself. So as I've been trained and developed, I've recognized just how powerful this has been to move me from a place of talking about my mother and talking about how I wanted to heal the relationship to actually having my mother come to the room, like not my mother literally, but people in the group playing my mother and then talking to her and reversing roles and being able to stand in her shoes and recognize her reality and her pain and her joy, not from a place of, oh, let me conceptualize this, but now I stand in it and I embody it, and therefore it transforms how I relate to her and how I relate to myself as her daughter. So the form is just, it's masterful in what it gets done, and no offense against talk therapy, because as a psychotherapist, I've done that form of therapy, but this is a quick acting form to move people from story to enactment to transformation. And could we meet him? Like, can you introduce him to all of us? I mean, you are him. Okay. Or can you introduce yourself as you walk the runway?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Hobart Harper. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ayodele. Stay smart. Hello, I'm Hobart Harper. What's your name, young lady?
Aisha.
Aisha? It's a pleasure. Take care of yourself.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
What's your name?
Laura.
Laura, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
I'm Hobart Harper.
I really wanted to have a greater understanding of why my family functioned in the way that they did. And I feel like I've always been a healer since I was a little girl, but I needed something tangible to gain a deeper understanding of their journey and mine and just my reactivity and just how it impacted my life. So studying the social work helped me, but then starting to do spiritual work and combining the intellectual with the spiritual just took it to a deeper level. And it hasn't been, it's only been like 8 years that I've called myself a healer, but I feel like that fits for me, and I get a chance to integrate all of the things that I feel are powerful mediums for my own healing, like acting and singing and ritual and meditation. Like I combine all of those things and it creates this awesome container for me to do the work that I love so well. Like I could do this work for free, but I don't have to. But I know that this is my calling. So that's how I came to the work, my own personal experience, witnessing other people, the community experience, and just finding these methods and mechanisms to really deepen it and have me feel powerful in the work. I feel like the system isn't person-centered. It, in essence, is designed to be focused on making sure that people get what they need, but really, like in reality, it doesn't provide that. So if I'm working with someone and I'm sitting before someone and actually really honoring their personhood, then the treatment and the support and the healing work will be done on their terms, at their pace, not anything forced on them like you must take medication or you must go to see a therapist and have this exchange or a psychiatrist or you must do this or that. No mandates around your journey because in essence, this vessel is your own and how you choose to heal is on your own terms. And what I feel is absent from the system is that it pretends or gives this the message out there is that we honor person, we honor family, we honor community, but a lot of times people's cultural process and their experience, their ethnic process and experience and identification, their gender or non-conforming, people don't believe in declaring themselves to be male or female, like those things are not honored, and there's this cookie cutter way to approach healing, and they don't even use the terminology healing. It's like treatment, as if something needs to be fixed or something is wrong. What's the line? I am her dad.
You are a gift, you are enough.
You are a gift, you are enough.
You are a gift. You are enough.
Slow it down just 2 more times.
You are a gift. You are enough. You are a gift. You are enough.
Can you take that in?
I can.
Can you take it in from Fritz?
Gladly.
So I'm like, it's all to me diagnostic, and I don't mean that in the way that the world says it, but it's all fuel or messaging for me to recognize that there's something to look at more closely. But in this society, it's like, it's wrong, it's bad. There's a set of symptoms that, you know, that they look at, and it's like, this label, and you're this, and therefore you need to take these medications and seek out this particular type of treatment. And there are multiple pathways to healing and transformation. When I dealt with my depression after I had my last child, I did belly dance, guided meditation. I also worked out because I needed to get the toxins out of my body. I also did talk therapy, and I also had a spiritual practice that supported me in transforming where I was at that time. And I know if it wasn't for the combined experiences, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking with you the way that I am, that I had to mix and match in order to find the right fit for me so I could come out of the depressive state and then stand in my power again. All of us have a different journey. Some might need medication. It just didn't happen to be my journey. But I don't begrudge or put anyone down because they have to take meds or choose to take meds. And I recognize that everything that we apply may not work in the instance, so you have to keep pushing forward and trying to figure out what the formula is for your own healing, and not have someone judge that, whether it be family or professional, so that you can get what you need for yourself and really rise up and live the life that you are ordained to live. And so the system just doesn't, it's not designed that way. There's a formula and a set of ways of processing what's going on with people. The spiritual is often left out. And I'm a big person on mind, body, spirit transformation. And when you leave any of those pieces out, I don't think that people really find their way to their authentic selves when you don't include those pieces in the formula for helping them to heal and transform. It's just my belief. The other piece that I share with people too is that our senses are gateways to healing too. They can also be our triggers to re-traumatizing ourselves, and then also experiencing like an episode of depression or a PTSD experience, because that's often triggered by like your senses being reactivated around the trauma. But there might be somebody who's more auditory, so guided meditation may work best for them, or music might work best for them, or affirmations, their own recorded voice or the recorded voice of someone else, or being in a process where they're like a group process like we did today, where they're hearing other people's voices sharing their experience. So that might work for them. Someone who's more kinesthetic, the auditory stuff may not work for them, so they might need to be in a movement class or do yoga or walk outside and, you know, take long walks, you know, where they experience nature and are connected on that level. So I just ask people to find their way to their learning style, whatever style they utilize to process information, you know, to learn material, like what they learned in school, whatever that strength is. Look for modalities of healing that speak to that strength and see if those things work for you. So, you know, my offer is to look into those things. How you learned as a little wee one might be the way that you heal and transform your experience with depression or bipolar disorder or anxiety. So just look into it, explore it. And if that's not the gateway, keep exploring and searching things out and asking people, because we often hide. And sometimes the answer to my healing might come from a conversation with you or someone else to support me and like, oh, I didn't think of that. There's nothing like community and group with your healing journey. Partnership is powerful. And that's the other piece, that partner with somebody else, tell somebody else, so that you can expand your world. Because if you experience mental dis-ease or disharmony and you're isolating, it can, you know, in my opinion, it only makes you sicker and get you more grounded in the unreality.
And yeah, like I just feel like I want my joy to be able to exist without the looming fear, and just being able to grow up, like Kim said in her share, and stop holding on to that fear, so that I can just, you know, be fully joyful. Yeah.
Tanya next.
I'm 9-eyed, which is the African print shirt. When I look at it, I see earth. And what it represents for me in terms of moving forward in my life is that I need to be grounded and connected. It's African print. I'm thinking about my ancestors, and my mom was an ancestor.
There's nothing like being able, you know, the experience of looking someone in the eye and being able to say, or ask, how are you? And have them say back, this is how I'm doing. And looking in someone's eyes in silence, like just the connection, like I'm here with you. It's hard to give certain moments up. You're like, I'm gonna just sit here and be. So as a woman of color, I feel honored and privileged. I also feel responsible, not responsible to heal anybody, but responsible to heal myself so that others might see a model of it and the next generation might experience. They won't even be aware, like they'll be so free and they won't know where it came from because I was willing to do what was necessary to be uncomfortable and to move from the dark to the light so that they could have access to the light. That's a major honor and sense of purpose that I have, and I wake up with that every day. Like I know my purpose is to utilize the word in all forms to ignite mind, body, spirit transformation across the planet. And I do that by sitting here and being interviewed by you, and I did it earlier by being the leader of the Psychodrama. We're whole, perfect, and complete. Even in the dis-ease that we are experiencing, or the mental challenges that we experience, or the emotional disharmony that we experience, I'm whole and complete in experiencing that. I'm not broken. I don't need to be fixed, you know, and I can choose to address the issue or not. That's the beauty of being a person and a being on the planet.
Help me believe in what I could be and all that I am. Which is like, I feel exactly what just transpired.
How I navigate relationships, and I don't always remember because sometimes I get caught up in the story of what's happening. How I navigate relationships is this experience is happening to teach me something. And so if my argument or my trigger around this conversation is telling me there's more work to do around something that I haven't put away in the past, or there's more work to do in this relationship because I'm making up something about this person, or maybe there literally is an issue with that person. But in order for me to really step into that powerfully and address it powerfully, I need to know that I'm a whole and complete person, that there's nothing wrong with what's happening. This is an opportunity. And we're taught we're broken, we're wrong, we're bad. We operate from this dichotomous thinking, black, white, up, down, you know, and it teaches us to box ourselves in and that there's no gray area in which to function. Psychodrama, that gives me hope. Like the willingness for some virtual strangers to come together and to take on roles of other and be willing to stand in those roles, cry with, hold literally, physically someone in their arms and rock them and provide space for mothering where it wasn't provided or fathering where it wasn't provided. Like that gives me joy and hope and peace and a sense of groundedness. Like it doesn't have to stay this way, and it won't as long as we keep showing up and doing this work. And it doesn't take all of us to do the work. Like I really believe that when I do my work, not only am I healing behind me, meaning my ancestors, but I'm healing who's with me right now because they interact with me and they experience my energy of healing and balance and groundedness. And then those who will come forward that I may never meet will be healed and transformed, especially in my family. But my family members interact with other people's family and other people's family, and like it keeps going on and on. So I trust that my work is gonna make a difference. And I may never meet the people, but I trust that generations to come after I'm dead and gone will continue to heal as a result of me being willing to do this and take the risks. My mantra for living is I expose myself to expand myself. And so for anybody watching this, exposure is uncomfortable. It may stay dark for a minute because you're exposed, because of the feedback that you get from people, and speaking about mental health issues, the stigma that's associated with that. However, the more you express and expose and open up your heart and tell your own story, two things happen. People can't tell it for you and manipulate it and turn it into something else. And you would be amazed that the release creates a space of healing.
So I think what I want to take from here is it's okay to let go. And I don't regret anything that's happened in my life because I've learned from everything that has, and I am who I am today because of it.
Thank you. You know, it takes a lot to be in a space where you're not sure. It's like, well, should I share this or should I go here? Like just trusting the process
and knowing that this is going to make a difference for a lot of people that you will never ever know. So just keep working.
So I encourage you to expose yourself to expand yourselves, because the world is going to heal because your one voice and your one story or multiple stories give us access and ignite that. So trust that, like, we all matter. Like they speak about Black Lives Matter, we all matter. Yes, this Black life matters, and you know, people have been disenfranchised and mistreated, and that needs to be honored. But please know that your voice and your story makes a difference, and you never know who on the train or at a meeting might be transformed as a result of you just taking a risk and really saying how you're doing when asked, or telling a story, you know, a deeper story than the superficial stories that we tell. So please expose yourself to expand yourself, because the world, the universe needs the healing.